Welcome to session 8, which is the final session of this entire program. And I want you to understand that this is not a summary session where we quickly review what covered, because summaries are forgettable, and the session is designed to be the most important 15 minutes of the entire program, I guess. Right. And the remaining 15 minutes you'll have to actually work on. So in the next few minutes, so what we will do is we'll do 5 things that will change how you approach problems from this day forward. And the first thing we will do is look at what you actually built today, because most of you will not have noticed how much you made. And when you see the full list, you will understand that you did not just learn about design thinking, you practiced it with your own hands on a real problem with a real person. The second thing we will do is name the 5 mindset shifts that happened inside you during these hours, not as techniques that you can write down and forget, but as habits of thought that you will now carry into every meeting, every project, and every problem you encounter next. The third thing we will do is give you the design thinking cheat sheet, which contains every stage, every tool, every output, and every key line from this program on one reference page that you can keep visible at your desk, because the next time someone in a meeting says the problem, you will have this field guide to remind you what to ask first. The fourth thing we will do is to ask you to write your one question, which is the specific problem you most want to apply this to, one person and one painful moment that you have observed and experienced. Because design thinking does not start with an idea or a solution. I'm sure you know now. It starts with a person and a question you do not know yet the answer to. And the fifth thing we will do is give you your obviously certificate of completion, which does not certify that you know design thinking in theory, but certifies that you have empathized with a real user, defined a problem, identified 20 or more solutions, build a testable prototype, tested it with real people, iterated based on feedback, and presented your work to a live audience. And that is a record of specific actions that no one can take away from you. Okay. While I'm saying this particular entire series should ideally be done in a classroom in real environment, but most of you will definitely understand, learn online and at self-paced mode. Hence, the certificate will be given to you accordingly, right? You can go to academy.aipraxis.co.in, take up all the quizzes, score more than 80%, and get your certificate, right? So now let us begin with the most important 4 minutes of the session, which is looking at what you actually built today. So I'm going to read this list slowly, and I want you to hear each of them fully before I move to the next one, because the space between these items is where you will realize what you actually accomplished today. So in session 0, you defined a design challenge that was specific, real, and human. And you wrote it in one sentence that stayed posted at the top of your workspace for the entire 10 hours. In session 1, you completed a full empathy map with all 4 quadrants filled, including verbatim user quotes, verbatim as it is, I mean, in what the person says, and inferred states marked in what they think and feel. And you wrote 3 insight statements that could not have been written before you conducted that interview. In session 2, you wrote a point of view POV statement that named one specific user, one verb-based need, and one genuinely surprising insight. And it was completely solution-free. And you also generated 5 how might we questions and selected one by dot vote. Uh, in session 3, you generated more than 20 ideas through crazy eights, brain writing, 6, 3, 5, and AI ideation. And you selected one concept using the 3 filter matrix. And you wrote a one liner that captured it. In session 4, you built a paper prototype that you drew and photographed, and a Canva digital prototype with 5 slides that had AI generated copy and real design. And you wrote a 3-part testing script that was ready to use with real people. In session 5, you completed 2 full feedback grids with all 4 quadrants filled for 2 real testers, and you made one prioritized change decision that was directly traceable to specific tester feedback, and you ran an AI synthesis of your testing data. In session 6, you built a version 2 prototype with one specific feedback driven improvement that you retested with one new person, and you wrote a 4-part iteration rationale, and you preserved version 1 for comparison so the iteration had a story. And in session 7, you delivered a 3-minute live demo to a real audience where you showed the prototype, stated your testing insights, and named your next design step. So you did all of that, in fact, I think in one day, right? The only thing that separates what you did from what professional design teams do every day is the number of iterations. The process itself is identical. Now, I'm now going to name 5 mindset shifts that happen inside you during these 10 hours. And I want you to locate each one in your own experience today, because these are not techniques you can learn from a book. They're habits of thought that require practice, repetition, and the kind of direct experience you just did. The first draft is from believing that you know what users need, to accepting that you do not know what users need, and that you must go find out. Because every assumption you hold about what users want is a hypothesis and not a fact. And you felt this shift when you sat down with a real person and discovered that what they actually said was different from what you expected them to say. The second shift is from jumping immediately to solving a problem to first making sure you're solving the right problem, because you spent 55 minutes on the problem and 5 minutes on the solution in session 2, and that ratio is not a metaphor. It is the discipline of not designing until you have reframed. The third shift is from believing that your first idea is probably right to accepting that your first idea is probably the most obvious, the most familiar, and least generated. And you felt this when you generated 20 ideas in session 3 and realized that idea number 12 perhaps was better than idea number 1. The fourth shift is from wanting to perfect something before showing anyone to building something rough and learning something real, because a polished prototype makes users feel bad about criticizing it. We have understood human psychology, while rough work invites human reactions. And you felt this when you handed a paper sketch to a stranger and watched them struggle with it. The fifth shift is from treating feedback as wrong, because the tester did not understand what you built, to treating feedback as exactly the data you need, because their confusion is not evidence of their failure. It is evidence of your assumption being wrong, and your job is to listen rather than defend. And you felt this when you changed your prototype based on what a tester said, and the retest proved that the change worked. These 5 shifts are the lasting output of this program, and every project after today is an opportunity to practice one more time. I'm now going to walk you through the design thinking cheat sheet, which you will receive or you can actually, take a screenshot of it, right? You can take the printout of it, get it laminated reference page that you keep visible at your desk. Okay. And this sheet contains every stage, every primary tool, every output, and every key line from this program. Because the next time someone in a meeting says the problem, you will have this field guide to remind you what to ask first. So for empathize, the tools are the user interview, the empathy map by Dave Gray and Explain, the five whys by Sakichi Toyoda, and the Think Aloud protocol by Jacob Nielsen. And your output is 3 insight statements. And the key lines you carry with you are: tell me about a time when, why, right? And stay silent for 5 seconds. For define, the tools are the point of view statement from Stanford Design School, the HMW how might we question from IDEO, and dot voting, and your output is one POV statement plus 5 HMV questions, and the key line is user needs, need because surprising insight with no solutions in the POV. For ideate, the tools are crazy eights from Google Ventures, brain writing 635 from burned roarback, and AI generation. And your output is 20 or more ideas that narrow down to one concept. And the key lines are, go for volume, defer judgment, okay, build on others, be wild, and stay visual. For prototype, the tools are paper, Canva, digital, storyboard, role play, or body storm. And your output is a paper plus digital artifact with a 3-part testing script. And the key lines are build to think rough. Okay. And then, of course, rough is correct and test one assumption, not everything. For test, the tools are the feedback grid from Stanford Design School, the Think Aloud protocol, and the 3 rules. And your output is 2 feedback grids plus 1 change decision. And the key lines are, show, do not explain, listen, do not defend, and observe, do not guide. For iterate, of course, the tools are one specific change, a retest, and the 4-part rationale. And your output is a version 2 prototype with a written rationale, and the key line is one change, not a redesign. Make it, test again. The loop is a feature. For present, the tools are the 5-part demo structure, the audience feedback protocol, and the facilitator awards. And your output is a 3-minute live demo, and the key line is open. The prototype first, then speak, show, do not present about. This is yours. So put it somewhere visible. The next time someone in a meeting says the problem, ask yourself whether you have actually been to where the problem lives. Now, we come to your certificate of completion, and I want you to understand exactly what the certificate certifies, because it's not a credential that says, design thinking in theory, and it's not participating batch for sitting through certain hours of content. This certificate certifies that you've completed a specific set of actions in a specific program, which means you've empathized with real user by conducting an actual interview using the 5 ways and completed an empathy map with verbatim user quotes across all 4 quadrants. Okay, you wrote a point of view statement and how might we questions and selected one by dot vote. You generated 20 or more ideas using crazy eights and brain writing and selected one concept by 3 filter matrix. You build a testable prototype, right? Paper or digital, whatever, with a written testing script, and you completed 2 feedback grid rounds with real testers and made 1 feedback driven change decision. You built a version 2 prototype with 1 specific improvement and retested it with a written 4-part iteration rationale, and you delivered a 3-minute live demo. To unlock the certificate, of course, as I mentioned, unlock all the quizzes on academy.aipraxis.co.in and score 80 or more than 80%, right? And if you have not yet signed up on Academy, you should do that, right? Because the puzzles are where you demonstrate. So in fact, let me just show you at this point. Yeah, hope you can see this page. So on the top, you can just see academy.aipraxis.co.in, right? And you can actually, go to, so on the right hand side, if you see, right, if you sign out, you will get your first, uh, sign up page, and you can actually go to program workshops. A lot of things are there, right? You can actually do, and this is where your design thinking course is, right? So I am using the already signed in one. You can resume here and you can actually just read everything I've already explained. And here you can just click and you can see all the videos already there, right? And this particular video will be uploaded now and you can complete it. So here are your quizzes. You can watch it on YouTube if you feel so, but come here and watch it, mark it, let's say done. And this particular thing will get opened then, right? If you go back here, you can actually, you know, open the quiz and continue, right? So, and if there are people who are interested in having live workshops, just click this live workshop and you can go to design thinking here and you can actually join, right? You can talk to your college or college administrator can, connect with me. Okay, perfect. So let me just stop sharing. Yes, so we were here and correct. So thank you very much. You have completed, right? Before you design anything, just ask a simple question to yourself. Have I actually observed the person I'm designing for? And if your answer is no, go find them first. Because every expensive design failure in history starts with someone who said yes. And when the honest answer was no, but I assumed I understood. So design thinking, once again, is not a process, it's a commitment to that question. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much.